Hello, my name is Vincent Creel, Public Affairs Manager for the City of Biloxi, here to deliver today's Be Prepared report. This is being recorded on Friday, October 9th, 2020 at 2:05 in the afternoon. We'll have the latest on the coronavirus locally and statewide in a moment, but first let's talk about cruising the coast, Hurricane Delta, and a few other things. Then we're going to get to the numbers. Joining me now is Mike Leonard, the Chief Administrative Officer of the City of Biloxi. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for getting me away from that pile of paper on my desk.
I know this was last minute, and I know you've had just kind of like what would you say, an okay week? How would you describe the events of this week?
Well, Vincent, I have to say, first of all, we had Chamber of Commerce weather. It was beautiful and sunny and nice, and the crowds were polite and well behaved and having a good time.
Were you surprised by the number of people?
No, the Biloxi Block Party is clearly the main event of cruising the coast, as we like to think. And Elvis told me this is also his favorite spot.
You were driving a red car.
Little red MG, no.
Mustang?
Little red Mustang that I've had since 2004.
And
it's kind of fun to break it out every once in a while.
A 2004, you told me it only had 80,000 miles on it.
Yeah, 80, 70, somewhere in that neighborhood. It hasn't been driven that much, but it's kind of fun. Yeah, ragtop. As Jimmy Buffett would say, yesterday was a ragtop day.
The thing about the people with cruising is that they seem like they just are enjoying themselves. What have you heard?
We have a lot of events here in Biloxi, some of them easier than others. This is the one that's the largest in terms of number of people. So all of the people on the coast have, struggle a little bit with the crowds, but they're just so well behaved and they're so polite. I talked to a number of police officers that said this is an event that they actually don't mind working because the people are so polite to them and easy to deal with. And I think our police did a fantastic job of moving all of those cars in and out of town with a very little problem. So
for the block party, you mean?
For the block party, yeah.
Now we're recording this on Friday afternoon. The weather has been something you've been watching closely, as long as everybody else too.
One of the things, of course, we always watch very closely is the harbor, getting our boats out of the harbor so they don't destroy the harbor and get to a safe place to be. We made a decision at one point a couple of days ago that we would not do a mandatory evacuation. We would let the boat owners decide for themselves. I talked to several who said just out of safety, be ensured that they would go ahead and move. Not many of them moved. And of course, that's still out to sea. We'll see how much the swells are this evening and tomorrow morning. But I think we're going to be fine. They were getting pretty fatigued getting moving. And this would have been the third time in a short period of time they had to move down.
This would have been the third mandatory, and they still regretted the harbor that we really should have evacuated. They thought they should have had a mandatory evacuation for Cristobal, and that gets me to this. You have to make a heck of a lot of decisions, you and the mayor, when we have these special events going on. Do you find that the workforce is nimble enough to keep up?
Yeah, nimble, yeah. Well, when you think about it,
I'm thinking traffic cones.
There's a group that we refer to as the Barricade Brigade. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is people we pull out of Public Works from all sorts of other jobs. And that, I tell people if your pothole didn't get filled today, it's because the Barricade Brigade's been activated, and we're out putting barricades and cones out and picking them up and taking them back and clean, and the Parks and Recs people are emptying trash cans, and I mean, it's all hands on deck kind of thing, and we pull from all over the city to do that. In fact, the police actually pulls from other police departments here in the area in order to be able to have enough people for traffic control.
Similar to Mardi Gras, the way we do everything.
But this is the big one. This is the one where we have the most people in town in the shortest period of time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's still a lot going on, and our poor brothers over there in Lafayette, and Lake Charles, and so forth. They're going to have a rough day in the next 24 hours. I have a very good friend, retired Marine helicopter pilot, retired a police officer in Lafayette, Louisiana, that said he just got through cutting down most of the trees that had been destroyed in the last storm, and he's standing by, but he says he's kind of running out of trees to cut down. Mm-hmm. because they've been hammered one right after the other. It's a sad thing.
This will be a record year, by the way. 10 storms are expected to make landfall.
Our police department and fire department both have crews that go out to neighboring communities to help out, cook for them and so forth. So I'm sure that as soon as the all clear is given, we'll have a crew of police and firemen that will be going over and helping with feeding and cutting down trees and doing all that sort of thing.
With cruising going on, with the storm going on, with the coronavirus stuff you're still watching, we had a city council meeting on Tuesday, and I think one of the things that people might have missed is I think a contract is awarded for the boardwalk on Back Bay, and the other thing is you've been talking about Tanglewood, and I think that was on.
Right, Tanglewood award of we'll be doing about a half of Tanglewood's neighborhoods, and we've done that in such a way that we can award, if some more money comes next year, we can add to that contract.
This is drainage?
The rest of it. This is water, for the most part, water. The water lines in the Tanglewood area in West Biloxi are in terrible, terrible shape. So they're pre-annexation, and we're long overdue helping those neighborhoods with some new utilities. So that's going to be awarded and starting probably about 30 days from now.
That's been a big point with
the
you.
The nice thing about getting new water lines is you get new asphalt.
Okay. But you've made a point, though, of telling me we got all this stuff in East Biloxi, we're doing stuff in Wool Market. Let's not forget the part of West Biloxi.
Yeah, West Biloxi's been left behind, and it's time for us to catch them up. There's a lot of old infrastructure, not really visible to the naked eye, but water, sewer lines, and drainage lines and so forth that are just well past the time when something should have been done, and we're really ramping up to do more work in West Biloxi now.
You know as well as I do, our boss, the mayor, wants those boardwalks looping around this peninsula at some point, and you took a step in that direction.
Well, we talk about the boardwalks is all about getting people, whether it be residents or visitors, a chance to get down on the water and have that water experience, that coastal experience. We have more miles of water, more miles of shoreline than any other city on the coast. And so we've got a lot of areas that we'd really like to open up to have people walking and enjoying and so forth. So the new boardwalk on Back Bay is going to be beautiful, and that's my old neighborhood, Lincoln, Forest Avenue over to Kensington Drive. Should be really nice. And
it's going to go from the Coon Street Pier, It's going to go from the Forest Avenue Pier, the T Pier, all the way down to where Kensington Boulevard is.
Yeah, and on top of that, we're just finishing. We'll finish in December. The phase 2 of the West Biloxi Boardwalk, which is going from Veterans to Camellia all the way to in front of the Treasure Bay Casino. So that'll open up another half mile of walking on the beach. Again, getting people out and enjoying the outdoors. That's what Biloxi's all about.
I want to thank you for taking the time out with no notice whatsoever to come up here and opine and update and tell people in closing, unless you have something else, I want you to remember what your slogan is about Biloxi.
Well, the thing about Biloxi is every day is a holiday and every meal is a feast.
Thank you, Mike Leonard. Okay, now today's coronavirus numbers. Today, the Mississippi State Department of Health reports that in the past 24 hours, 862 new cases of the coronavirus were identified statewide. Since Monday, we've had nearly 3,000 new cases statewide. This brings the statewide total since mid-March, 7 months ago, to over 103,000 cases of the coronavirus statewide. Also in the past 24 hours, 6 deaths were reported statewide. This brings the total statewide since mid-March to over 3,000 deaths, 3,080 in fact. Here's the 14-day perspective for new cases statewide. Now let's talk Harrison County. The State Department of Health reports 43 positive tests of the coronavirus in the past 24 hours in Harrison County. If you look at this 14-day track of new cases for Harrison County, you see that the daily average has increased from 16.6 new cases a day to over 22 new cases a day. Overall, since this all began, 4,300 people in Harrison County have tested positive for the coronavirus. 79 people have died in Harrison County from the coronavirus. With all the counts of new cases and averages, we think you should remember this as well. Of the 103,000 cases that have been reported since day one in Mississippi, the Department of Health reports that more than 90,000 people are presumed to have recovered from the coronavirus. Here's the advice. This virus is still out there and it's still being transmitted from person to person. We're still in a pandemic. You should still wear a mask when you're near others. You should social distance. You should wash your hands frequently and avoid others if you don't feel well. The number of new positives is on the increase in Harrison County. People are becoming infected. People are becoming sick. And of course, some people are asymptomatic. They might not even know they have it. Just do the right thing, be prudent. We leave you today with all of this activity in our lives today. We leave you with a constant, the Biloxi Lighthouse. Here from 2006 is a heartfelt tribute and the story of our signature landmark from singer-songwriter Steve Kasson. We'll see you again Monday.
I came from Baltimore to be with you. Many years have passed, many things we've been through. My life is stretched out with ships to sea. Storms of a raging hell have tried to destroy me, but I have stood the test of time. God's grace has been yours and has been mine. I've been battered and I've been scarred, and I've been through a tragic war. But here I stand, I'm on dry land. I'm Biloxi's lighthouse and I'm your friend. Back home safely. So let this mighty lighthouse burn inside of your soul, and we'll keep standing tall as the storms of hell roll. 'Cause I have stood the test of time. Hey, God's grace has been yours and it has been mine. I've been battered and I've been scarred. I've been through one hell of a tragic war. But here I stand, I'm on dry land. I'm Biloxi's life.